Let us for a few moments pray to Sri Ramakrishna for the peace and happiness of the whole humanity. Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharma swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's topic I have chosen from the Gospel, charity as a spiritual discipline. The word charity is very familiar. Everybody knows and everybody is doing charity in one way or other. The result depends upon the attitude. All actions, they look alike, but the results are different. The results depend upon the attitude in which the person does things. So, charity occupies a pivotal place. It is rather doubtful if one can enter and progress in spiritual life without practicing charity. So, in Sanskrit it is called dana. Means give. The more you give, the more you expand. That's the meaning. To give is the spiritual quality. But giving must be followed by spiritual attitude. Then you will have tremendous result. Sri Ramakrishna says in the Gospel, if a householder gives in charity, in a spirit of detachment, he is really doing good to himself and not to others. It is God alone that he serves, God who dwells in all beings. And when he serves God, he is really doing to himself and not to others. If a person thus serves God through all beings, not through men alone, but through animals and other living beings as well, if he does not seek name and fame, if he does not seek heaven after death, if he does not seek any return from those he serves, if he can carry on his work of service in this spirit, then he performs truly selfless work. Work without attachment. Through such selfless work, he does good to himself. This is called Karma Yoga. All these words are spoken by Sri Ramakrishna. These are the instructions given by Sri Ramakrishna to the devotees who would come there, who would love to be in his company, who would love to hear his spiritual instructions. Sri Ramakrishna said, this too is a way to realize God. To realize God, there are so many ways. This is also one of the methods. He who works in such a detached spirit, who is kind and charitable, benefits only himself. Helping others, doing good to others, this is the work of God alone, who has created the sun and moon, father and mother, fruits, flowers and corn. The love that you see in parents is God's love. He has given it to them to preserve his creation. The compassion that you see in the kind-hearted is God's compassion. He has given it to them to protect the helpless. Whether you are charitable or not, God will have his work done somehow or other. Nothing can stop his work. All these are words of Sri Ramakrishna. Man's duty is just to take refuge in God and to pray to him with a yearning heart for his vision. Realization of God must be your goal. The spiritual life starts from that goal. Without that goal, no spiritual life has started. Again, Sri Ramakrishna says, householders engage in philanthropic work, such as charity, mostly with a motive. They want to build a hospital, they want the name to be put there. They want the grandfather's name or grandmother's name in memory of somebody. Sri Ramakrishna says, that's not good. Do it for the sake of God. Do it in the name of God. Why do you want your grandfather, great-grandfather, all those people? Who are your great-grandfather after you go? Where do you go? How many fathers and mothers you have passed through? Through millions of births. Millions of fathers and millions of mothers have come. So, your focus must be on the Paramatman, the source of all beings. Actions without motives are good. If a man has money, he should give it to remove the sorrows and sufferings that come to his notice. In such an event, the wise man says, give the poor something, but inwardly he feels, what can I do? God alone is a doer. I am nothing. It's God's wealth. I am just an agent. I have become a channel to make use of God's wealth in serving the humanity. That attitude must be well established. Charity is very noble. Again, Sri Ramakrishna says, there's a great deal of difference between compassion and attachment, daya and maya. Daya is good, but not maya. Maya is love for one's relatives, one's kith and kin, one's relations. But compassion is the same love for all created beings without any distinction. All created beings, not only human beings, animals, plants, trees, nature, whole creation. When you begin to love, that is the God's love. You are expressing God's love. You have become fit instrument in expressing that love. Swami Premanandaji, one of the direct disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, said, if God, the dispenser of the universe, is not generous, people's wants can never be satisfied by man's charity alone. Because God is gracious, He is providing everything. Swami Turiyanandaji, another great disciple, he said, what will it avail if one makes charity with money stolen from others? To live long on the charity of others is as good as death. It is useless for a slanderer to repeat the name of God. That's why Lord Jesus said, therefore, if you bring your gift to the altar, and there remembers that thy brother hath aught against thee, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Another right disciple, Swami Adbhutanandaji, he says, if the desire to do charitable works arises in the mind of a rich man, it shows that his heart has started to feel for the poor. God tests a man by making him wealthy, and that is a hard test to pass. Tests devised by men are easy to pass, but divine tests are very difficult. God may give plenty of riches to one man, but so delude him by Maya that he will never in his life desires to be charitable. Again, God may give a generous heart to another person, but not give him much money. Blessed indeed are they who are rich and yet feel for the poor. Every action brings a corresponding result. That's the law. A man will get social merit through his philanthropic activities. But if his ego is involved in those activities, he will not get any spiritual merit. Even the result of a good action turns into a bondage if it is done with ego. There are several things we are expected to give up before entering the portals of God's mansion. For example, surplus possessions, objects of pleasure, falsehood, vanity, etc. We have to get rid of them. Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yajna dana tapa karma na tyajyam karyameva tat yajno danan tapaschaiva pavanani manishinam. Charity must not be given up. One must never cease to be charitable. Significantly, the other two things also. Lord Krishna has insisted not to discard yajna, that is Vedic sacrifices, as were prevalent in Lord Krishna's time, now in vogue as ritual worship and offerings in temples. Whenever you come to temple, you must offer something. And tapas, physical and mental penances, are deeply related to charity. If you examine closely, dana means giving up, is at the core of yajna and tapas. Yajna or temple ritual involves giving away material things. And tapas involves the highest form of charity, namely tyaga, giving away oneself to God, or giving up one's usual attachment to one's body with a view to realizing oneself as the Atman. To appreciate fully the relevance of charity, however, we must hold it beside another idea, namely kripana. This is also a Sanskrit word. Kripana means a miserly, niggardly, dull, perspectiveless, or pitiable person. Referring to the Gita, the kripana idea occurs twice in it. In chapter 2, in verses 7 and 49, you get this word kripan. At the first place we find Arjun describing himself as karpanya dosho pahata svabhavaha, one whose nature has become overpowered by the mentality of a kripan. There, Arjun, apprehensive of his defeat and the loss of kingdom, wealth, etc., or of losing forever through death his friends, relations, and others, is feeling miserable. Therefore, he compares himself to an ordinary miser who too feels sorry and gets upset at the mere prospect of losing away any part of his wealth. In another place, kripana refers to the pitiable state of mind that is constantly in want, discontented, feeling incomplete. Lord Krishna says in the Gita, kripanaha phalahetavaha, those who thirst for rewards, who have only one motive behind all their thoughts and pursuits, namely self-centered material gain and pleasure, are pitiable. They are to be pitied in the context of higher human possibilities and goals. There is nothing wrong with those people seeking temporal returns. All those seeking temporal ends are not unhappy or guilty. They may not at all be feeling so, and may possibly resent being considered pitiable. For example, someone trying to get established in life, or one striving to earn bread for his or her family through perfectly legitimate means, or a businessman or woman earning a profit, or an energetic entrepreneur aiming to strike it rich. Nevertheless, they are pitiable, who hear no call other than those of friends and relatives, success, savings, social attention, accumulation, name, media frame, comforts, etc. They are pitiable because they are like slaves, completely under the demands of another, that is, of the worldly drives, of their passions and possessions. Such people may imagine they are strong-willed, rational, free, and responsible choosers of their course. But they in fact are not. So, the whole idea has been presented that whenever you trying to do something, whenever you are giving charity, you must be having good attitude. Spiritual attitude. Then It paves the way for your emancipation. All the hurdles in your spiritual path are cleared off. By this act of charity with spiritual attitude, you become free from selfishness. And you began to feel the taste of real love. The love is real, and you feel it more and more when you expect nothing in return. And that's a spiritual quality. So how we should make use of charity as a spiritual discipline, that topic I have taken to discuss, and today I have given a kind of introduction to this topic. The same topic I will continue in my next Tuesday class. Chapter 37, The Master and Narendra. Sri Ramakrishna was seated on the small couch in his room, absorbed in deep samadhi. Mahimacharan, Ram, Manomohan, Nabai Chaitanya, M, and other devotees were sitting on a mat spread on the floor. They were watching the Master intently. It was the day of the Dola Yatra, a Hindu religious festival. Sri Krishna and Radha are the central figures of this celebration, their images being placed on a swing which is rocked now and then. A red powder is showered on the images. Later, friends and relatives throw the powder at one another. This festival is celebrated when winter passes into spring on a full moon day, rendered doubly sacred by its association with the birth of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The devotees saw that the Master was returning to consciousness of the world, though his mind still lingered in the realm of God vision. The Master said to Mahimacharan, "My dear sir, please tell us something about love of God." Mahimacharan chanted the following lines from the Narada Pancharatra. What need is there of penance if God is worshipped with love? What's the use of penance if God is not worshipped with love? What need is there of penance if God is seen within and without? What's the use of penance if God is not seen within and without? O Brahman, O my child, cease from practicing further penances. Hasten to Shankara, the ocean of heavenly wisdom. Obtain from him the love of God, the pure love praised by devotees, which snaps in twain the shackles that bind you to the world. Mahima said, once while the great sage Narad was practicing austerity, he suddenly heard a heavenly voice repeating those lines. Master said, there are two classes of devotees, Jiva Kotis or ordinary men, and Ishvara Kotis or divine messengers. The Jiva Kotis devotion to God is called Vaidhi, formal, that is, it conforms to spiritual laws. He worships God with a fixed number of articles, repeats God's holy name a specified number of times, and so on and so forth. This kind of devotion, like the path of knowledge, leads to the knowledge of God and to Samadhi. The Jiva Koti does not return from Samadhi to the relative plane. But the case of the Ishvara Koti is different. He follows the process of negation and affirmation. First he negates the world, realizing that it is not Brahman. But then he affirms the same world, seeing it as the manifestation of Brahman. To give an illustration, a man wanting to climb to the roof first negates the stairs as not being the roof. But on reaching the roof, he finds that the stairs are made of the same materials as the roof, brick, lime and brick dust. Then he can either move up and down the stairs or remain on the roof as he pleases. Shukadev was absorbed in samadhi, Nirvikalp samadhi, Jada samadhi. Since Shuka was to recite the Bhagavad to King Parikshit, the Lord sent the sage Narad to him. Narad saw him seated like an inert thing, absorbed, absolutely unconscious of the world around him. Thereupon Narada sang 4 couplets on the beauty of Hari to the accompaniment of the veena. While the first couplet was being sung, the hair on Shuka's body stood on end. Next, he shed tears, for he saw the form of God, the embodiment of spirit within himself, in his heart. Thus Shukadev saw the form of God even after Jada Samadhi. He was an Ishvara Koti. Hanuman, after having the vision of God, both with form and without, remained firmly devoted to the form of Rama, the embodiment of consciousness and bliss. Prahlad sometimes realized, I am he. Sometimes he felt that he was a servant of God. How can such a person live without love of God? That is why he must accept the relationship of master and servant, feeling that God is a master and himself the servant. This enables him to enjoy the bliss of Hari. In this attitude, he feels that God is a bliss and he himself is the enjoyer. The ego of devotion, the ego of knowledge, and the ego of a child do not harm the devotee. Shankaracharya kept the ego of knowledge. The ego of a child is not attached to anything. The child is beyond the 3 gunas. He is not under the control of any of them. One moment you find him angry, the next moment it is all over. One moment you see him building his playhouse, the next moment he forgets all about it. Now you see him love his playmates, but if they are out of his sight a few days, he forgets all about them. A child is not under the control of any of the gunas, sattva, rajas or tamas. The bhakta feels, O God, thou art the Lord and I am the devotee. This I is the ego of bhakti. Why does such a lover of God retain the ego of devotion? There is a reason. The ego cannot be got rid of. So let the rascal remain as a servant of God, the devotee of God. You may reason 1,000 times, but you can't get rid of the ego. The ego is like a pitcher and Brahman like the ocean, an infinite expanse of water on all sides. The pitcher is set in this ocean. The water is both inside and out. The water is everywhere, yet the pitcher remains. Now, this pitcher is the ego of the devotee. As long as the ego remains, you and I remain. And there also remains the feeling, O God, thou art the Lord, and I am thy devotee. Thou art the master, and I am thy servant. You may reason 1,000,000 times, but you can't get rid of it. But it is different if there is no pitcher. Narendra entered the room and saluted the master. They began to talk together. Presently the master came down from the couch and sat on the floor on which a mat had been spread. In the meantime, the room had been filled with people, both devotees and visitors. We shall stop here. So charity as the spiritual discipline, that we should understand very thoroughly then every action can be transformed into a spiritual worship, and every action can result in spiritual benefit. So, maintaining the correct attitude, pure attitude, devotional attitude, spiritual attitude, that is most important. With spiritual attitude, you do anything, you will not do wrong, and everything comes out very well. You will get spiritual strength, your willpower becomes strong, you become strong in every respect, because your strength is derived from the supreme strength, God Himself. Just love God, love His creation, love the whole universe. Give only love and love, nothing else but love. So that giving, the act of giving is called dana. The act of giving is called charity. Give whatever that is best in you in order to serve the humanity, in order to serve the universe. So all your qualities must be channelized in this way. Then you will see how you can really progress in spiritual path, and you feel more and more joy as you pursue this path. Let us continue next Tuesday. Any questions to ask? You are welcome. Everything, yeah. You are sacrificing yourself. That's true. Yeah. See, it reminded me of an incident. There is a big program where the cooking was to be done for a large number of people. So we had to engage the qualified chefs to prepare the cooking. And of course there were good number of volunteers who also knew cooking well. Anyway, both worked very well. When the dish was given to people, they enjoyed the food very much, and the people who prepared, they were very happy because whatever they had done was well appreciated by everyone. But there's a point to understand. The chefs who have been employed to make the special cooking, they have to be paid. So they have done the job very well, but they are getting monetary benefit. The reward is money they get. So material benefit. It's a temporal. Whereas the volunteers who are also very good in cooking, they also did very well. I mean, it was appreciated by everyone, but they are not doing for money. They didn't ask anything. They just did it out of their tremendous love inside. They felt they were privileged to do this service on this holy occasion, and they were joyful to learn that whatever they have done has been accepted, has been loved by people. So here, he also gets the reward, but here the reward is spiritual reward. Whereas in case of the other one, monetary. He just, of course he did the work well, very good. Doing good is all right, but results are different. One is temporal result, another is spiritual result. So spiritual result is possible when you have spiritual goal. You are going to the chapel, you are coming to the society, you are coming to ashrama in order to render your humble service. So that motivation, spiritual motivation, that purifies the heart and it takes you towards freedom. It releases you from bondage. Whereas the other guy who works for money, he is very much after the money and he gets it. but it is temporal. So spiritual and temporal, though both are looking alike, the work is same, cooking, but the results are different. So it is like that. Whatever you do, if you do it with spiritual attitude, you will get spiritual benefit. So doing with spiritual attitude is called karma yoga. You come under that karma. Then you are not coming under the wheel of cause and effect. That's the thing. Anything? It can be done. Because actually the charity is described. It has got 3 shades: sattvic charity, rajasic charity, tamasic charity. In sattvic charity, nobody knows. Anonymous. No, it is true. So people give, and in fact I read in the newspaper long time back, I think last month, several millions of dollars a person has given in charity. Nobody knows who has given that. That is remarkable. That is called sattvic charity. Everything has got a result. That's what I am telling you. If you do it with the love of God, and it helps you a lot. See, I was telling to many people, there was a person, I had not seen him at all in the ashram. But one day he suddenly appeared and said, Swamiji, I am giving this $500,000. Let it be used for the sufferings of the people, including animals in India. Because in India, always there will be constantly, there will be, in one side there will be famine relief, another side there is flood relief, another side riot relief, riot also. How many types of relief? How many types? And he is telling, I was amazed, he was telling, this should be used not only for the human beings but also animals. That I liked it. Today I referred to that matter, Sri Ramakrishna telling, the animals, they require more sympathy, more help from people. You do help, you do take care of the human beings, perfectly all right, but give more care, more love towards animals. That is the way, because all are parts of God only. Is it not? So, that's the way. And in fact, Sri Ramakrishna says, even spiritual practices, one does it secretly. Nobody knows he is doing spiritual practice. They do it under the mosquito curtain. When all people are gone to sleep, he will be meditating on God. Anyway, it all depends upon individual temperament. Individual temperament. And that's why we always stress upon go to solitary place, go to seclusion to do your spiritual practices. What is the meaning of seclusion? Privacy, that's all. In privacy, you are in yourself. You are looking yourself. And that's the meaning of seclusion. But use that seclusion in a proper way. Wholeheartedly. Everything is possible to build up. You have to build up that. So building up samskaras is very important in your life. And afterwards you feel in your next birth you are born saint. How could it be? Because you have got a history behind. So many lives you have worked hard, and in the final result you are really a soul. Ramana Maharshi became remarkably great. He realized, who am I? And he was the embodiment of bliss. And where people go and feel immensely joyful in his company. And his works also tremendous. How did he arrive at that? So that is the idea. It's not that people give, and it's not that you must take. And people have got tendency, particularly, I don't know, I only see the tendency in foreign country like this. I have not seen the tendency in India. The tendency is, when they get the new things, the old things they give to the chapel. Suppose they bring a new car. They want to buy a new car. They give the old car to the chapel. Swamiji, we want to present this van, and do you need it? We are present. The reason is he is taking the new one. Instead of throwing this old one to the garbage, he wants to send it to ashram. It can, of course, it is serviceable, no doubt. Because here, people are very, they want newer things quickly. Even though the car can run for several years, still they want to have a new car, not to maintain their kind of prestige or whatever it is, their social status, whatever the reason they may give. They saw a beautiful car presented in the TV, they want to buy it. But what happened to the other one? Give to the chapel. Second hand, used. But the first hand he keeps to himself. The new one he keeps to himself. That means himself is more important than the chapel. Then you won't get that spiritual benefit, will not be there. If you want to have spiritual, all right, let me give the new car to the chapel. Why should I give the old car? Give the new one. Give the new, brand new, the best one. How you would like to have. Do you want to have the second-hand car? Of course, if people have no money, they go for second-hand car. That's all right. But suppose you have got money. You want to have the best car. Same attitude you must have. God is your own. Give the best to Him. That's the idea. Anyway, there's a lot of comments can be made on this subject also. The point is this: how far you are correcting your mind, how far you are becoming more liberal and broad-minded, how far you are able to love sincerely all the people around you, let alone your own children, your own family. There is nothing special in showing your love towards children, towards your family. There is nothing special. But it is special if you show love towards others' children, and so on. And that joy, it's a different type of joy. Though they look alike, the difference is there. That's the point. Anyway, you must maintain your spiritual fervor. That's what I'm always stressing upon. Maintaining spiritual fervor should be done. In order to do that, you must be constantly reading some spiritual textbook, and you must be at it in spite of all your hectic worldly activities. You should never forget your spiritual dimension. If you forget it, it is lost for you. It's a terrible loss for you. If you have got that, if you are established in the truth, you are a wonderful person. You are saint immediately. Yeah. Concept is very good, but are you able to do that? That's what I want. That's the question. That's good. Very good. Perfectly all right. But I am telling you, coming to God, realizing God, aspiring for God is not considered desire at all. It is that it doesn't come under the desire is used commonly. It is used as the thing that distracts you from God, which entangles you more and more in the things away from God. They come under that classification. All the selfishness, etc., are because of that. You want to enjoy, you want to have the benefit of that. You are doing for your own comfort. You are going to bigger home. What for? Just you want to have a good comfort. That's all. You want comfort. You feel happy in that comfort. That's all.
I'm just raising it.
No, it's perfectly all right. Raising question is perfectly all right.
Is that
It is
just
no. That happiness is entirely different from the happiness of the drinks you are getting. Actually, the happiness what you are getting, the enjoyment you are getting through the pleasures, they are really filthy. In the language of Sri Ramakrishna himself has explained that. It's a filthy. Just like a fly, it enjoys to sit on on the filth, even though this first class, glorious sweet meat is available, it loves to sit on the filth. The rotten one, it goes and sits there. So, the bliss can never be compared with this. You see, that's uplifting. The bliss of God is uplifting joy. Not like your worldly things. You drink, momentarily have got that moment.
Give an example.
No, I'm it's all right. What I want to say is the worldly joy. The joy you get through worldly contacts. So you are getting a good salary, you are getting a big lottery amount, $200 million, you got it. You are immensely, you are happy. But that happiness is not permanent. It's always followed by some kind of stress and strain, some tension will be there, and you expect so many things. With that, they are all followed by so many other things. They won't pave the way for freedom. You are tied down. You begin to possess them. The more money you get, why don't you feel the whole world, all the banks, the money in all the banks belongs to me? Even if suppose you have got 500 crores, $500 million, what do? Do you use them? You keep them in the bank. After all, how much you use? So why don't you think, whatever the bank, the amount, they all belong to me like that? Now the point is this, there's no end. There's no end. The spiritual quality is contentment. You are satisfied what you are having. Whatever that comes, it's all right. So getting joy in anything that God has provided you, in whatever situation, you are feeling joy because your mind is with God. That is uplifting joy. It will not exhaust you, and it will keep your mind in a balanced state, and you can do tremendous service to the humanity with that attitude. Because you don't need anything. After all, how much food you take? Tell me. That much food God certainly provides you wherever you are. So like that. There is difference. So the bliss of God cannot be compared with whatever the joy you get out of the worldly things. They're all, in fact, they're not considered as joy at all, because they're always mixed with unpleasantness and unhappiness. That is at the realized state. When a person is realized, that is the qualification of the realized soul. A person who has realized, he thinks everything is same. Until that concept develops, until you have realized the truth, you have to go this way. You have to, in order to get into Rajas, you have to conquer Tamas. In order to get over Rajas, you have to come to Sattvic. Then you have to transcend, then you have to go beyond Sattva, Rajas, Tamas.
We can't Sattvic straight.
Immediately, how can you do? There is no immediate, no, you may like it, but you won't get it like that. See, to get into that is, there's a process. You have to pass through that process. So methods and means are very important. They take you properly. The truth is explained in different ways. That's true. A person who has realized, he feels everything is God. And he looks at it like that, and he is happy over it. He is not disturbed at all, unlike others. One without a second, God only is there. It is true for him 100%. And he looks upon everything as God himself. It's a fact with him. And he is happy over it. That's all. We will stop. That's all I can say. Any question to ask? No? Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean, and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust, raging furiously within. Our name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself, O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bought for very souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years. When my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void, prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou, who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.